Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Tech and R, Top Tech Secrets to Discover More About Your Leads. I'm Susan Harrison, Exit Realty Senior Vice President, Corporate Communications, and I'll be moderating this session. If you have questions throughout the presentation, please type them into the question box on your GoToWebinar pane, and we'll do our best to address them in a day or two. You are in listen-only mode, and today's Tech and R is being recorded. Today we're going to find out how to get intel on your leads without being a creep. There's a strategy to this, and the best part is these tips can be applied by any entrepreneur who wants to build and serve relationships. Here to share her secrets is Exit Realty's Vice President of Technology Engagement, Annette Anthony. Annette?
Hi, Susan. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Yes, it is going to be a very interesting conversation. You know, I'm excited to share resources that you can use right now to get to know your leads better. Now, I use many of them regularly as well because I also want to learn all that I can about the people that I'm meeting for the first time, whether it's in person or over the phone. Basically what it is, it's about doing a little bit of homework on the front end so that I can build rapport quickly. Now, it also shows my contact that I care enough about them to learn a little bit about who they are. I want to find things that I can weave into the conversation about them that's meaningful. And you know what's going to happen is it's going to earn me, I guess, what I call rapport bonus points, right? Going to help build that connection a little bit closer. So here's what we're going to be discussing today. We're going to tap into leads, and we're going to frame up the opportunity that you have with leads and how finding relevant information is absolutely invaluable. It's invaluable to helping you establish a connection. And we're also going to look at apps that are going to help you find missing information and deliver more intelligence about your leads, even to your mobile device. And I'm also going to talk about websites that you're going to absolutely find enlightening, okay, that you can use too. And we're going to wrap up with next steps, right, because I want to make sure that everything that you're learning today, you're going to be able to apply it directly into your business, directly into how you engage with people. So, leads. Let's talk about leads. You've accumulated leads over time from all over the place, right? Such as in person at networking events, maybe personal introductions from friends, social media, right? People that you know and also people that you're connected with. Also, as you're using hashtags and you're drawing people to your content, content that you've created on your blog, your lead generation platforms, your lead generating technology like your Exit provided mobile business card and your Smart Sign technology, your website, there's so many things, right? I can go on and on. There's no lack of leads, that's for sure. Here's the thing. You've got a lead, and most sales professionals, here's what they do. They shift into lead qualifying mode, right, in the initial contact. Most often what people forget is, well, most every lead is an actual human, right? We're familiar with the statement that you get what you focus on, and our actions reveal what our focus is on. So we got to ask ourselves, are we focusing on the sale or the person that's inquiring? Now, before we get into the resources to help you get to know your lead better, what is it about your lead that can be helpful to know? So just like in networking situations, when you're talking with people in person, there are great questions that you can ask to get to know them, right? I'm going to share a personal experience. I get calls all the time, instant messages, LinkedIn messages, and emails from salespeople who want to push a product in front of me so that I'll buy it. And each one of those inquiries, right, with a sense of urgency. You likely get chased by salespeople who want to get into your pockets also, right? Of course you do. So few people stand out from the several sales pitches that I get per week. And the ones that stand out are the savvy salesperson who actually took just minutes To get to know me as a person, that is the person who stands out. They're the ones that get my complete attention. One in particular learned about our company, mentioned that I am passionate about leadership and helping our agents succeed. They also knew that our son plays baseball and said how she's looking forward to her daughter, who's a freshman in high school, to focus her efforts in softball so that she hopefully will get a scholarship as well. Now listen, just from that initial conversation, I can tell you that we were instant friends. Now, why is that? Now, here's why. She understood me, and we have a commonality. And now I didn't feel like I was being sold. I felt like she was aligning herself with me, and we can both mutually help others. Listen, I was all ears. So we all have the same information at our fingertips, easily accessible either using your desktop, your tablet, your mobile device. We even have wearable technology. There's no shortage of information about the people that we're trying to connect with. It's using it to accelerate your relationship with strangers and turn them into connections who are, able to either do business with you now, or they may become a reliable resource to refer you business in the future. So using the form method I learned from our Bob McKinnon, who's our Director of Leadership. This form method helps keep me organized to gather information pertinent to my contact. So let's break it down. F is for family. Asking finding out about your contact, for instance, do they have a spouse? And maybe how long have they been married? Now this is really helpful to know because you have to understand that there may be other decision makers to consider, right? Are they a parent? That might be another piece of information to find out about your contact. What about, are they a dog lover or a cat lover? Okay, find out about their family a little bit more. Now, here's the O. So O is for occupation. So your question to find out is, what do they do professionally? Is it their own company? That'd be a good piece of information to know. Are they an executive leader? What is it that their company does? Okay, maybe even what is their mission statement? R in form is for recreation. So what do they enjoy doing when they're relaxing or enjoying time off? Maybe you might find that maybe they like to fish. I love to fish. Do they enjoy reading the same type of books that you enjoy? And the last letter in form is M for motivation. So find out what motivates them. Do they have a charity that they support? Are they involved in their local communities? Do they have causes that they support? Now, these are really good benchmarks to know. And if you're not sure what information to look for about your contact, why don't you think about using the form method in your discovery about your contacts, okay? I can assure you that minutes spent on the front end can mean the difference in your initial contact. So let's dive in to available tech that you can use to gain the intelligence you need to get acquainted, most of which are free. Some offer upgrades for a moderate fee, but I can tell you that the time that you save and the impression that you make, it's absolutely invaluable. So let's go ahead and take a look. First of all, LinkedIn is a great resource to learn about your contact. What they do professionally, you got to read their bio. There's great information in there. You can watch videos, and you can absolutely just take a few minutes to get to know them. We can't ignore that Twitter and Instagram are a great opportunity too, because you can easily do a search to see what you might have in common. Your interests. Again, what type of books do you like to read? Maybe it's a certain author that they follow. Connections that you have in common are a great way to help, bridge that gap and have someone else do a personal introduction. You can also find what vacation spots they enjoy. Perhaps you've been to some of them. And what if you both discovered that both of you served in the armed forces? Would that be a little nugget to help you build rapport? I can tell you that it absolutely would. Listen, I had the pleasure of meeting with a franchise sale prospect, and the purpose of our meeting was that I was doing an overview of our technology, with them. They were curious about our technology at Exit, so we spent some time together. Now, of course, prior to our meeting, I did my research, and all I had was their name. I had the company that he worked for and an email address. That's all I had. So here's what I did with the information. I found that he served in the Marines, which is huge. Now, my father served in the Army, and so did my husband. And simply thanking this prospect for his service struck a conversation about where he served. He also asked where my dad served, where my husband served. We talked a little bit about military life and so on. You know what? He didn't expect me to know that information at all, and that information was written in his bio. So immediately his defenses were down. It's not a sales pitch anymore. You know what it was now is we are having a real conversation. So that was really important. Now Facebook enables you to leverage search. You can take a mobile number of a lead and you can type it into the search field in Facebook. And more often than not, it's going to reveal whose Facebook profile is connected to that mobile number. You can send them a connection request through Facebook, and since they're meeting with you, chances are they're going to absolutely want to connect with you. I do that all the time, especially when I get a mobile business card lead. It's great. Now, here's a couple of resources that you could use to fill in the gaps of missing information and updating their information as well. There's a couple technologies that I want to share with you. First of all, Full Contact. Full Contact organizes all of your contacts throughout North America from all of your apps and your paper business cards, and it rolls it up into one app. You can register with your email, and you can import your contacts from all of your accounts, including Gmail, iCloud, and Office 365. You can also import Excel spreadsheets and connect social platforms. One login makes it simple so that you can access your full address book. You can also snap photos of your business cards with the mobile app, and it's going to recognize the text and add them to your address book. Ideally, you're going to keep close enough contact to realize when people make changes in their companies, change their email addresses, and even change their phone numbers, right? But we know that life happens, and if keeping up with your contacts and their changes falls between the cracks, what you can do with Full Contact is they'll even send you an automatic update to your inbox every month of any changes of your contacts, whether they change companies, their address, their phone number, which is a time saver because you're not going to have to do it. The technology does it for you. Isn't that great? Okay, another technology is Clearbit Connect. Now, if you have a phone number but you don't have an email address for anyone in the world, Clearbit Connect is going to find it for you. Clearbit Connect is a Google Chrome extension for Gmail that actually acts as a search engine for email addresses right in your inbox. When you click on the Clearbit icon that appears at the top of your inbox, you can search for contacts at specific companies. For instance, let's say you were looking for someone at Exit. You'd enter the name of the company and find a list of employees. From there, you can search for people by name or title. So let's say, for example, you wanted to talk to Tammy Bunnell. You could search Tammy Bunnell, or if you didn't know Tammy Bunnell's name, you could just type in CEO. That works too. And on each contact's profile, you'll find their email address, links to their social handles that they've registered through that address. And when you're reading emails, Clearbit's sidebar in Gmail will give you the extra details about a contact, perfect to refresh your memory before reaching out to, let's say, an old colleague. So cool. Finally, you've got a company. A company is an app available in North America on iOS only. However, you can use the desktop version and log in from the company website, or you can download the Google extension. I did that. I love it because now my Gmail is on steroids. What happens is as I'm typing an email, a company pulls up my contact's profile, and I can see recent social media posts. I can know about the company that they work for. It also tells me who I'm mutually connected with so that I can get additional insight from those people about my contact. Connect your calendar, and what I love the most is the company is going to send you an executive briefing ahead of your meetings so that you can get up to speed fast. And it's going to save you a ton of time scouring the internet for intel about your contacts. But you know what? There's more cool stuff too. Let's take a look at some websites that are going to help you gather information about your contacts. So first of all, we can't ignore Google, right? So powerful. And you know, your clients are doing this too. When they want to learn more about you, what they're doing is they're going to Google because you don't need an app. You don't need a login to access a wealth of information. You just go to Google. So you can do the same. You can find images. You can view videos. You can look at news. You can set up a Google alert to be notified when your contact is mentioned in the news. And that's important because you want to be first to acknowledge them. Anywho.com is a great resource in the U.S. to find mailing addresses for your contacts. The reason why I find this valuable is that, you know, I've used this many times to find an address for a contact so that I can send a handwritten note. Now, I could do this without asking my contact for their mailing address because Anywho finds it for me. Sometimes I don't come up with anything in the search, but more often than not, I do. And once I've got their mailing address, not only am I going to send that handwritten note, which is going to surprise them that I was even able to get their mailing address, but what it is I'm able to take that mailing address and put it into my CRM so that in the future, when I want to write another handwritten note, what I'm not doing is scouring the internet to find it again. I've obtained that information. I want to save it so that I can use it again in the future. People.com, spelled funny, but people.com is a free resource that I can search about people. I can enter an email address or a phone number, and what people.com does is it scours the internet for the human behind the email address or the phone number. Now, this is really helpful if all you have is limited information about your contact. Otherwise, think about it. How are you able to start creating rapport with just an email or just a phone number? Using people.com gives you insight to pictures, careers, location, social network URLs, contacts that they're associated with. Now, are you creeped out yet? I think this is absolutely awesome. I love using it. And then finally, here's a really creepy one. It's called Crystal Knows. This is a personality profile detection technology platform. And I'm sure you're thinking, what did you just say? What I said was Crystal Knows is a personality profile detection technology. This platform gives you insight into the personality of your contact so that you know what personality profile they are. And that's important because you're able to understand how to approach them, you know, what the best approach is when you're connecting with them, even if you've never met them before. You see, and they even have a Chrome extension that's especially useful when you're using the internet and if you're sending emails. You simply hover over the teal crystal icon and get insight about your contact. So think about it. If you knew in advance that your contact is, let's say, detail-oriented, right, you want to make sure that your first meeting goes especially well. And in this case, you'd bring facts to the meeting, right? You want to bring as much information. You want to bring as much statistics and graphs and reporting. Because if you show up not knowing what their personality profile is, here's what's going to happen. It's going to require a second meeting with the prepared detail, right? And trust me, your contact doesn't want additional meetings. So using Crystal Knows is going to help you better understand their personality profile ahead of time. Now, let's think about applying all this information. How are you going to use this in your business? So there's a lot of different resources that you learned about that's going to help you to get to know more about your contacts, right? To obtain more information about them. You're going to be able to find information that you can use to, let's say, warm a conversation and build rapport. So you need to decide what resource is the best for you. But I want to impart on you this very important thing is that you don't have to choose everything, right? That's not practical. New resources are coming into the tech space all the time. And what's important is you need to find out what works the best for you, okay? Maybe it's using resources that's going to help you fill in the gaps of information that you may not have. That's perfect. Or maybe it's about using some of these resources to help you learn more about your leads so that you can use some of that information in your conversations. You have to pick what's the best for you. Now, when it comes to discovering what information is the best to gather, think about the form method that we talked about. Remember, F is for family, so it's important to find out, are they a parent? Are they a spouse? Right? Because remember, they might not be the only decision maker in the next purchase of their home. So we got to think about that. O is for occupation. Find out what they do professionally. What company do they work for? What's their mission statement? R is for recreation. Be a good opportunity for you to find out what do they enjoy doing when they're not working. And remember, it's about looking for clues to find things that you have in common, things that are interesting that you can use in your talking points. The last letter in form is M. M is for motivation. Find what your contact is motivated by. Are there specific things that that you have in common? It's a great way to create some rapport. Maybe it's find in their social posts what they're motivated by what it is that they're posting about. Look for the clues. Now, if you find information, make sure that you add that information to their contact record in their database, right? Because knowing this really good information and not doing anything with it, that's bad. You want to make sure that you take whatever information that you find, you put it into your CRM, because these are going to be helpful later when you want to be able to recall some of this information. So you don't want to forget it. Your database can absolutely be a wonderful place to maintain all of this information. Lastly, and first thing that Susan mentioned is you don't want to be a creeper, right? You've got to be, you need to be careful. And when I say about creeper, we need to be careful about what information you are planning on recalling, right, or using in your conversations. So you really do need to be careful not to recall things that are quite personal to your contact. And what I'm going to say is just use discretion, right? I'll leave it at that. So these resources can absolutely help you to get to know your leads a little bit better so that you can start building rapport and weaving in this very special information into your conversations. You want people to feel as though they are important, and when you spend some time on the front end to get to know them a little bit better, I can assure you that their defenses are going to be lowered, and you're now going to experience a great conversation with your new lead. Again, they might not do business with you initially, but they could very well be a great resource to you by referring you lots of business ahead of time, because you're no longer a salesperson to them in their eyes. You are now a person that, is obviously you're in tune to their needs. You care enough to learn a little bit more about them as a person, as opposed to diving right into the sales conversation trying to qualify them. So these are great resources to help you be better at finding out great information about your lead and using it to create a great relationship. Susan, I'm sure we have some questions from our attendees. Let's open up the floor for some questions.
We do. Let's take a look. Let's start off, first of all, with what is a Google extension?
Yes. So basically what they are is a browser extension that extends the functionality of a web browser. So basically it's going to make your web browser work way better.
Oh, that's cool. And, it's really, like, when we look at all these details about potential customers and our leads and stuff, is this a practice and invasion of privacy?
All the information that we're finding, Susan, is available online, right? You're not buying from personal information. It's all out there. It's public.
Right.
But
You're not peeking through windows.
Yes. Yeah. Peeking through windows is absolutely creepy. Yes. You want to find information about this person that's going to help to draw a great conversation. When we oftentimes when we think about leads and we think that leads are, they're terrible, they're dead ends, right? Really it's not. If we take a little bit closer look as to who that individual was who was making the initial inquiry about buying or selling a home or learning more about a community, if we just take a moment to get to know the individual a little bit better, you're going to be able to strike a much more meaningful conversation, and they're not going to be made felt like a lead.
All right. So it's really using information that's already available in the public domain and just using it strategically, right?
Absolutely.
So with all this information, how can I use it ongoing?
So ongoing, what I am a big believer of is taking this information and coupling it with your contact manager. In your contact manager, you can maintain a lot of this information, Susan. You can create some reminders, right? If someone is, we can even know whose birthday, when is their birthday. You can take that information, add it to your database, and add a reminder to yourself so that you can pick up the phone and call a year later and say, you know what, I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. You're probably getting a ton of, maybe social media messages, but I wanted to reach out to you in person and just say happy birthday. Even if you leave a voicemail, it humanizes your engagement, right? So even if it's their anniversary, you saw that they recently posted about an anniversary dinner, taking that information that it was their anniversary, you might not know exactly what the date was, but at least roundabout time, you can then put it in your database and recall that special event later in the future. And it really makes people feel as though, wow, you're paying attention to me. You care about me as a person. So whatever you find, if it's, how many kids they have or areas they like to visit or favorite restaurants they go to, all of these, Susan, are just these compounding opportunities that over time will, really cement the foundation of the fact that you are trying to build a relationship with this person.
Right. And it helps also to remember that the CRM is a living, breathing organism, right? And you're feeding it all the time.
All the time. You're always updating. You're always adding. You're always deleting. It's an activity. You should be doing some sort of activity in your database every single day. And I'm even talking about even the days that you're not working, Susan. There's always opportunity to, you're going to have a reminder about something important, or you're going to meet someone important. Just take some moment, even from your mobile device, to be able to add an important, person, event, experience in your CRM, but every single day. Do you know, Susan, that sometimes there are individuals who haven't logged into their CRM in months?
Mm-hmm.
In months. So there's an opportunity there for sure. Right,
and I bet those folks are the ones with the Post-it notes on their desk, right?
Yes, although the Post-it notes stick pretty good, over time, they lose its value for sure.
Right. They curl up at the end and the sticky falls off, and you just never know what's going to happen. So let's ask one more question.
I think you've had an office full of sticky notes, huh, Susan?
I did. 5,000 Post-it notes in my office once. Wow. It was lots of fun. So one more question then today. Would you use this practice only on leads?
That's a great question. Wow. No, I would not just use it on leads. I would use it on leads so that I can build a rapport. Because remember, when I had that meeting with that potential franchisee who is interested in our technology, I just took a few minutes just with a name, email, and company to find a little bit more about him. Made him feel really special in our conversation. But you can also do the same with maybe your top clients, the clients that you recently closed a deal with. How much do you know about them? Chances are you got to know them pretty well during the transaction, but over time, that's not all that you're going to learn about them. There's so much more to learn. People are posting all the time. So no, not just for your leads, Susan. I would say people that you're doing business with, people who invested in you. And what I mean is they paid you a commission. Those are the people that you should invest in to find as much about them that you can recall, that you can remember, that you can acknowledge, because all those little pieces, those little touches are going to cement your relationship. They're not going to want to go to anybody else. And trust me, your competition is constantly connecting with your people that you've closed, that you're in the process of helping them find a home. The way that you cement relationships is you make sure that people feel that you have a vested interest in who they are as a person, not that you're chasing a commission. When you demonstrate that, that's really important. So using this technique, not only with your leads, but helping you ongoing with your connections as well, is very important.
Yeah, it would make sense to do it as well, I think, for the agent on the other side of the transaction as well, to learn more about that person.
Ooh, I didn't even think of that, but yes, absolutely, because you're going to establish some great relationships with lots of great agents out there when you know a little bit more about them as a person, not just in the profession, because they don't just do real estate. They have families, right? They love to go on vacation. So getting to know them as a person is really important for anyone.
Yep, for sure.
And thank you, Susan. Yeah, I was just going to end real quick with this.
Sure.
This conversation that we just had today is not just for real estate. Thinking about going back to your database for all of our attendees who are listening, and to think about who in their database is an entrepreneur. It could be a client who has their own florist company, or they have their own, they do taxes. There's so many different occupations out there, right? If they learned a little bit about how they can be more diligent in how they connect with their potential leads and clients, that would be really beneficial. So they can certainly share this.
Yeah, and those of us at Exit Realty also have the opportunity to sponsor, so finding out about agents we're interested in introducing to the company too would make sense.
Correct.
Thank you, Annette. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody for joining us today. Keep an eye out on social media and your email for upcoming events. Hope you have a great day. Bye now.